Hey guys, Shadney back with another process video today, and I'm kind of on a roll right now. I have been doing voiceovers all morning while everyone's still asleep. This is my third video to get my voiceover done, so hopefully I will have some really cool content coming for you guys soon. I have a bunch of videos in my backlog. I just can't seem to get everything done. So today's is another old photo of India. I've been doing a lot of those lately. The voiceovers I've done so far this morning are both old photos as well, which is kind of cool. I like getting those old memories documented and seeing all those old photos of my baby. She's all big now. So, this photo is India and she was eating watermelon. She's honestly not a fan of watermelon anymore, which is weird. Like, me and Phil both love watermelon. I don't know why she just seems to think she doesn't like it anymore. But this was back when she did like it and she made a huge giant mess and it was a lot of fun. So right now what I've done is I just took a 6x6 piece of patterned paper and just adhered it to the photo and tore off one edge and then tucked it behind and trimmed it down. So now what I'm doing is I pulled out a bunch of 6x6 pieces that are all in this like pale pink corally kind of color scheme. And I'm drawing some like splatter looking shapes on the back. They obviously do not have to be perfect because they are splatters and they just are what they are. We're going to layer them up on the page just to give some texture and some layering without really layering, if that makes sense. Like, it'll give the feel of layering behind the photo and like giving the photo more focus without being like photo mat layering. So I'm just going to go through and do that. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward because that is boring. And I also went through and I'm on my last couple ones that I am also inking the edges of all of them just to help those colors stand out because they all are kind of similar colors and they would just kind of blend together and you wouldn't get the real feeling of the splatter because you wouldn't see the edges. So I went ahead and inked all the edges and now I'm just going to start layering them behind the photo. I realize so I got a new chair and it's a rolly chair. It's really awesome. So I can actually roll closer to my desk. And then if I do need to stand up, I can kind of push it back, which is really great because before I was using just a plain metal chair. It was cute. It was like turquoise and cute, but it was not super comfortable and I couldn't move it. So I would just leave it kind of far back and like kind of sit on the edge. So it wasn't super comfortable, especially long term. So I'm really excited about this chair, but I'm going to have to try to be more mindful of where my layouts are on my desk because I feel like because I can be closer to my desk, I'm shoving my layouts up further and you can't see the entire layout. And I didn't realize that until I've been doing these voiceovers. So I will try to be more mindful of that in the future and try to pull my layouts back down where you can actually see the layout. So right now I'm just trying to figure out where I want these splatters to go and kind of tie them together or layer them in a way that they're overlapping nicely, but you still see a lot of each of them because I don't want to lose that look of the splatter. I don't want them just to look like big giant blobs. So yeah, so we're just kind of playing with it and trying to get it all to lay out correctly. And then I will just start adhering things down one at a time until I get it all done. I did use my thumb just to like kind of pull up the edges a bit, and that just gives some more texture to the background. If you don't like that, you don't have to do that at all. I just like getting more texture. You know, I like a lot of texture. So I'm still just moving along and adhering these down. The ones that are overlapping the photo, we are going to adhere to the photo themselves. And each other. And this is because I'm going to add foam behind there. So I want to make sure that they're all adhered together so that when I add the foam, we add foam to all of it. And that'll just give some more interest to the photo, just to pop it up. And it'll just be a little bit more texture and dimension for the splatters as well. So again, just kind of roughing up the edges a little bit. Not roughing them, but like kind of pulling them up. And then I'm going to pull out my fun foam and start adhering that to the back. And I adhere it to the photo first, and then I'll just fill in with strips of fun foam to fill in the rest of the backing. And then I'm going to go ahead and fast forward because this takes a few minutes and it's rather boring. So there we go. It's all adhered together, and I have not adhered it to the background yet. I just want to be able to move it around still, and so that I can tuck these other splatters behind there easily. So still just kind of playing around with it, and trying not only to figure out where it belongs, where the splatters belong to overlap it, but figure out where I want the photo on the page so that you get enough spacing also for the title and everything. So, and it's hard to get these splatters where you can see a good amount of it. It's weird. So I'm adhering the splatters to the back of the photo because I feel like that is going to be easier than adhering them to the background. I feel like they might be able to lay a little bit easier. Sorry, yawning. So my Stampin' Up! Adhesive, I used my last roll that I had, so I need to order some more. So I went ahead and pulled out this tape gun, which I really like, and it is the 3L or L3, whatever, adhesives. And I ordered it on Amazon, and I ordered the refills on Amazon, but the refills, if you watch them, the shop that I ordered them from, the price varies at different times. Sometimes it goes up to like almost $10, and then, but I wait until it gets down to like $6 and change, and then that's when I'll order more of those. So I do have several in back stock waiting so that I can pull those out whenever I'm running out or whatever. So, but they are a pretty good price because you get 50 yards. They're obviously not as much as, you don't get as much on them as the ATG, the Scotch ATG gun, but that thing is frustrating to me, and me and it do not get along. So I just would rather stick with this and pay just a little tiny bit extra to not be crazy. So right now what I'm doing, I pull out this kind of scarlet red color. It's just a scrap. It's kind of a solid cardstock, but it is from a paper pad. And then I pulled out just a scrap of paper that I used to create a heart template. So I folded my paper in half and cut down until I got a heart the size and shape I liked. And then I used that to trace onto this scarlet colored paper and cut that out. And then this guy, I'm going to turn him into like a little watermelon looking thing. So, and at first I just didn't, I don't know. I liked it. I liked the idea of it. And then the execution I wasn't really a huge fan of. But at the end, it looks good. Like on the layout, the layout looks great. So it's fine. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. So I'm going to go ahead and add fun foam to the back of this guy and adhere him down right there on some of the splatters, but kind of overlapping the photo. There's a little bit of white space on her tray that doesn't have all the gross watermelon all over it, so I don't feel bad kind of covering that up just a little bit. So it will take me just another second, and then I'll get it stuck down. There we go. So it's just going to overlap right there. And now I'm going to pull out these little, they're from Pink Paisley, Auburn Lane, is that right? I don't know. Anyways, they're just little black enamel dots, and I could have used my Nouveau, but I didn't want to mess it up and do it all over again, so I just put the black enamel dots. I start at the bottom and then work up, just in a kind of every other kind of pattern. And I like it, but to me it doesn't really look like watermelon. It just looks like this weird heart with black dots on it. So I needed to add some green, I feel like, to make it look like watermelon. So I was going to pull out this jelly roll pen, but it's just too lime greeny, and I was having trouble getting it started. So I just passed it and went for the Nouveau Drops. I pulled out this green. It's a vintage drop. I don't remember what it's called, but that other green is a like a pearl kind of look, and it is called bottled green. So I'm just doing kind of a back and forth little zigzag down like around the top of it to look like the I was going to say the shell. I don't know what you call it. Like the rind of the watermelon. Sorry, not the shell. And I do go back and kind of try to fix that left side and make it more like wiggly looking, because they got wigglier on the right side. Which, I mean, I like that better, but I just need to fix that left side. And then I pull out, this one is just a glitter drops. I think it's coastal something, coastal gold or golden coast or something like that. And just to give it a thicker and like kind of that white yellowy kind of part of the rind. And then I pull out a little tabby, and those are from Whimsy Fox Crafts over on Etsy. And I am using the Stampin' Up little narrow strips of foam to add foam behind the tab, so that whenever I adhere it to the photo, it's popped up to the same level. And it's got gold stitching on it, I think. I'm pretty sure. Oh no, it has green stitching on it, I think. So over here to the right, I didn't do this on purpose, but it worked out perfectly that I added that pale pink striped splatter over there on the right, so I could just add my journaling perfectly right there. It was awesome. So I'm just adding a little bit of journaling about her loving to make a big giant mess with her watermelon. She is hysterical. When she was a baby, like, she would make the biggest messes, and Phil is such, like, it stresses him so bad to have her messy like that, but I would push his limits and just make him wait it out and let her do it, because I mean, that's part of being a kid, right? So we always, not always let her be messy, but we let her play with her food, whatever. I went ahead and pulled out that green freckled fawn label down there at the bottom to add the date. And then I pulled out this washi tape, and it's like a corally red kind of color. And I'm just adding a little bit of that to the bottom, and then up here at the top and I keep tearing the washi tape trying to get it like straight down so that it will tuck behind the label there. It took a hot minute. So, and then just to add to those clusters where the embellishing is going to go, but I didn't add it over here where the title will go, but that's just fine. We're fine with that. So at this point, I pulled out these two foam alpha sets, or foam thicker sets, and they're both in that kind of dark coral scarlet kind of color, so they help bring in that color from the heart. And the title I was going to use is Our Messy Eater, but I wanted to use the capitals for messy because they were just larger, but I didn't have all the right letters, so I was trying to do the smaller ones, but I just wasn't feeling it, and the Y was going to get in the way when it was hanging down, and there was a whole big thing. So I decided not to use that, and then in just a second I will pull out some black thickers. Yay! So, and these end up fitting perfectly in that space. Like, they were like I planned it out. And I obviously didn't, because you just saw me like trying to use the red ones and not having any success. So I will go ahead and add these guys, and then I'll do Eater out of the fatter thickers, and then Hour out of the little skinny ones. And it's really, I love that these are the exact same color and just two completely different fonts, because I feel like you can kind of mix and match them together. And I kind of am sad Thickers has gotten away from doing these fun colored foam thickers. I feel like everything's super themey now, or it's gold. And I like these colors. I just would like to get back to being like a little bit of everything all the time. So, but you know, it's fine. So I'm pulling out the Hour, and then going to stick that on the wax paper, because I like to stick my titles on wax paper so I can move them around and make them fit in better in my little spaces. I went ahead and put the letters from Messy back, and then I pulled out these two little star pieces to add into my other clusters to kind of tie that red in, and to that top cluster and that bottom left cluster. So adhere down the Eater, and then working my way up so that everything fits in really well. And then of course on these black thickers, I'm going to be using Nouveau Adhesive, because they're thickers, especially chipboard thickers, and they just don't stick. So they're also fairly old, so they like really don't stick. And then I'll just adhere those down. I'm doing them right up to each other where they are like all but touching, just to make sure that it's going to fit, because I was really pushing it to make it fit. But it does, it fits perfectly. It looks like it was supposed to be there. So I adhere down the S, and then the Y. And I love how the Y kind of nestles in perfectly around the S and underneath the S, where the Eater kind of doesn't quite get to the Y. I mean, doesn't get to the end of the word. So it literally, it just looks like I perfectly planned it, and I absolutely did not. Don't you love when those happy accidents happen? So now I'm just going to start working on my little embellishment clusters. I'm pulling out some little pale pink blush colored adhesive sequins. Sorry, I kept wanting to say rhinestones and that wasn't right. And then these little wood veneer hearts. And those sequins are from Stampin' Up. And then the hearts, I have no idea. I have had them forever. They're probably Studio Calico. When wood veneer first started coming out and becoming popular, they were the ones that had all my favorite ones. So I have a ton of Studio Calico wood veneers. And so I still just have a bunch of those, because I'm a hoarder and I use them sparingly because I don't want to lose them. I never want them to run out. So now I'm just adding this little camera. It is from, I am a Patreon or patron, whatever, of Inky Quill. Her, just everything. She's just amazing. She's so creative and talented. So go over to her YouTube and watch some of her awesome videos. She's amazing. And anyway, sorry, I was getting distracted. So she does free printables every month for her Patreon people at certain levels, and this was part of a printable. It was like a journaling card, and I just cut it up into the individual little cameras to use as embellishments. So adhering down these little wood veneer hearts in the 3 clusters, I'm going through and adding these little sequin guys to each cluster, 3 in each cluster, I think. And then we'll go from there. So I do end up loving how this layout turns out. It's very kind of monochromatic, but not in a really boring way or anything. So it's nice. Then I pulled out these Nouveau Drops. Right now they look really pink, but when they dry, they're a little bit more of like a strawberry pinky reddy kind of color. So they're not as weird colored as when they dry. And I have swatched all my Nouveau Drops so that I can look at how they look dry before I adhere them to my page or add them to my page. So, and I highly suggest that because some of them really just look completely different than you think they're going to. These are little chipboard, what are they called? Little phrase stickers. They are from Freckled Fawn, and they come on a little chipboard pack. And these, they were like striped, and then each line was a different color. So there wasn't very many words in this color, but there was enough that it worked. And then the you down there at the bottom, it was you and me, and I just cut the and me off and just put you. So, because I just needed one more. And then I pulled out these little puffy stickers. They're from Remarks, which I think is also an American Crafts brand. I'm not for sure, but I would not be surprised because they also don't stick worth crap. So I will use adhesive in a minute to adhere them down. So I'm adding a heart to each cluster, and then I do also end up adding a star to each cluster as well. I just like adding a little bit more in of that black to each cluster so that it just ties it together and keeps your eye moving around the page. So there we go. And that is pretty much it. I'm trying to see what I'm waiting on, what I'm doing. Oh, I'm adding the stars. That's what it is. And then I'm going to add extra Nouveau adhesive behind those because, like I said, they do not stick. So I love this teeny tiny little black heart, but it's kind of hard to use because it doesn't stick, and it like I don't know, it's just hard to handle when, especially if your fingernails are too short or anything. They're hard to use. And I didn't have to adhere down that bigger heart that's on the photo because with the glossy paper it stuck really well. So, and then that's pretty much it. I do add in just a tiny, not tiny, I do add in the date with a Sharpie, and then I do add a doodly border around the outside, just to kind of rein everything in. I've been doing that a lot lately, and I kind of just love how it looks. It's also, if you go over to Inky Quill, that's something I picked up from her. It's the Doodly Borders, and actually just doodling on your page in general. I was kind of scared to do it, but I really love the look it gives when you do stuff like that. So, and then I go in and add just a few little hearts in each cluster. And then that's it. Sorry, I keep saying that's it, but it's obviously not it yet. This is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like this video, please hit like and leave me a comment. Maybe like your favorite weird shape to use on your layout, because these splatters is kind of a weird shape that I wouldn't normally use, but it was pretty fun. And if you don't know, whenever we ask you in videos to like and comment on our videos, it's because more than anything, like, we want to interact with our subscribers, and we want you to like be a part of it and get to know you a little bit better. And we also get more, it like tells the YouTube algorithm that people are liking our videos, and it will suggest them more to more people. So that is another reason why we like them, like all the likes, and that is it. So if you want to see more videos, please hit subscribe. I've got a lot more coming soon, and I hope you have a wonderful day and happy scrapping. Bye.